So, welcome back, everyone. And here we have another interesting but very crazy story. Will enforce 70% local content in radio TV production, Lai Mohammed. So, again, this guy has come out and just blabbed out one of his crazy thoughts again. Now, okay, it probably doesn't really mean anything sinister to you or doesn't really seem sinister to you, but there's a very big problem here in his argument. Now, I understand that there is an argument for us to have information on local happenings and culture around us being presented to people more often. But there is a very big problem. The first problem is that most stations in the country already have overwhelming local content, for God's sake. Like most of the TV stations, most of the radio stations around, they display things that are local. The music is local for the most part. The programs are local for the most part. If you're in Ondo State, you're going to be having most of the things happening in Ondo State being broadcasted to you. If you're in Abuja, you're going to be having most of the things in Abuja being broadcasted to you all around Lagos State, Anambra State, wherever you are. It's the same. That's what I'm just trying to say. This is completely unnecessary. If something is already being done by the free market, completely done effectively enough, you don't need to spoil it. Just like they say, don't fix it don't fix it if it ain't broken. The system is not broken. People are actually airing local content in Nigeria, for God's sake. You don't need to dip the hand of the government into the entire thing and ruin it. We all know that when government dips its hand in things, it tends to make it only worse. Government doesn't tend to make things better, only makes it worse, because that's when you're going to be able to have more chances of people acting corruptly and all sorts of things in that nature, and then mismanagement of funds and all sorts of things like that. Of course, in this particular uh, case, the problem that is there is that they are trying to regulate the media in Nigeria, especially the radio and the television, more stringently than before. Why do you have to control the content produced by the country, by the media in the country? This is actually tending towards the aspect of censorship. So the government is actually trying to censor things and permit this and permit that, because that's where you're going to be starting from. Before you know, this thing is going to go down the slippery slope, and then the government is going to be dictating what is permitted to be aired and what is not permitted. I actually understand there are some things that are not permitted, and obviously reasonable enough, like threats and things like that, but you are going to increase the ability of the government to do worse in that respect. Before you know, recently we started talking about things about hate speech laws. And the problem with that is that who defines what hate speech is? What if this party decides that the political position of the other party is actually hate speech, or the political rhetoric of the other party is hate speech? And then, because they are in power, they are able to arrest and suppress the opposition party. That's exactly what has been happening in some countries around the world, some dictatorial countries around the world. Look at what is happening in Russia. That's one of the reasons, or at least one of the ways in which Vladimir Putin has been able to remain in power since 2000. He's still going to remain in power. Now he has changed the constitution of the country so that he can actually remain in power until 2036 recently. That is the problem. You don't want to give the government more power. You want to reduce the power of the government, limited government, and then you're going to have freedom for people. Freedom is more important than giving power to the government. So many things can be done by the private sector. Don't ruin it with the government. That's the reality. Do not ruin it. One of the reasons why America is able to succeed, and America is a whole lot better than us, and most of the European countries are better than us, is because they limit the influence of the government in people's life. When people are free to choose, when people have the freedom of enterprise, that is, you're able to trade in your own goods and services with other people without the government budging in and ruining things, people tend to benefit on both sides. That is, the benefit of one person doesn't need to be the loss of the other person. Both parties can actually benefit. Now, again, these people, they're actually trying to interfere with the free market. And one of the things you need to realize is that the media company are not going to be airing things that are foreign if the people or their audiences don't like it. If you know you're going to be losing audiences by playing things from another country, you would not be playing those things. The only reason why you're going to be playing things from outside the country and focusing on things on outside the country is because you have actually carried out polls and realized that many of your supporters or many of your viewers or many of your listeners actually have interest in things like that. That's the reason why you're going to do that. So by the time you start forcing them to focus only on Nigeria, you know what is going to happen? Most of those people who want to hear things from outside Nigeria are going to have to go to other places, which means the number of minutes or the number of hours that people are going to concentrate on your channel or concentrate on your program is going to drop. So it means you're going to be having less viewership because people's interest really matters. If the seller or if the producer is not going to give the consumer what he actually wants, is going to go over to alternative means. That's the way it works. Demand and supply. If there is a demand for foreign content, the media industry produces the foreign content. That's the way it works. But now if you're trying to interfere with the free flow of demand and supply, you're going to be ruining things. You're going to reduce prosperity in the country. You're going to reduce freedom of speech. You're going to start censoring things, which is like you are going down into the abyss of dystopia. So that's what I'm just going to say about that. It is not supposed to be by force. People should have their own abilities to listen to whatever they want to listen to. They should be given the freedom to listen to whatever they want to listen to, watch whatever they want to watch. People should be given that ability. It's basic human right. You should not interfere with that. The way this administration is actually behaving is almost like a dictatorship. They keep interfering with everything, keep regulating this and regulating that, keep messing with this and messing with that. For God's sake, just stay out of the business of the regular people. Nigerians don't want the government butting in everything. Don't butt into everything people are doing in their lives. So again, get out of people's life. That's what Nigerians want from the government. Get out. Let people have the freedom to do whatever they want to do. Let people have the freedom to be able to exercise their rights within the nation. So again, thank you very much. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you click on the notification bell so you can be notified anytime there is a new video. Like the video and share with your friends. Next time.